Victoria's new government is yet to work out a plan to reduce homelessness. Frontline services say they're in limbo as the coalition has shelved the previous government's long-term strategy. Those experiencing homelessness say there's no time to waste as more people fall victim to the crisis in housing affordability.
We'd actually lay this seat down here, both seats down. Dad would be in the driver's seat, I'd be in the passenger seat. I'd have my disabled child here, my 9-year-old here, and my 16-year-old here, baby across.
This car has recently been home for Alex, her partner, and their 4 children. How often have you been forced to do that?
We actually slept 22 nights in the car. Showering and stuff was, sometimes non-existent, or it would be public amenities. And it was cold.
How did the kids cope?
Not very well at all. My 9-year-old was very resentful and angry for a long time. My disabled child used to try to escape.
Last year, the family moved to Melbourne from Newcastle to try and get better health care for their 11-year-old son. He has cerebral palsy and wears calipers.
Looked at rental properties, quickly found they were well out of our price range, and of course living in a motel or staying in a motel is quite expensive, so the cash flow stopped and we were stranded and basically had no other option but to sleep in the car.
The family's been moved on by police and threatened by one agency they'd be reported to community services. The stress took its toll.
By 11:30 that night I'd taken an overdose of my husband's pills and just didn't want to do it. I felt like I was a really unfit mother.
That would really help in terms of keeping...
Homeless services say they're turning more people away as demand outstrips supply.
What we're also seeing is more people on low and middle incomes coming into agencies for the first time, and particularly older women who are being pushed out of the rental market, and once they're pushed out they can't get back in because of their limited income and limited assets. We're also seeing about half of the children who leave the child protection system experiencing homelessness in the 12 months since they leave the system.
A lot more people out on the street. A lot more younger ones as well, I've noticed.
36-year-old Kaus has been living rough for nearly 20 years.
We had a squat in a sports shed and it actually had power, and so we ended up buying a cheap TV and a little heater to keep the room warm and stuff, and we had his 2 dogs with us as well, and so we stayed there about 3 months, so that got us through winter.
He's in crisis accommodation at the moment and eats at places like St Mary's House of Welcome in Fitzroy. But this father of 4 longs for a home where his sons can stay with him.
I'd have somewhere I can go that I can take my kids, and like somewhere I could be proud of, like to actually be a home.
48-year-old Julia is living proof huge change is possible for the long-term homeless.
It was a period of 20 years. I was on the street, in prison, in the mental health institutions.
I'm sort of reasonably on my feet.
These days, the former drug addict is now a mentor to the homeless, amongst many other achievements.
I work on a casual basis, so I work in a call centre. I study. I'm studying screenwriting. I'm writing a lot, so I've written a book.
Julia says her life change came through finding God, help from a church and getting a house. And that's the issue homeless agencies say is crucial.
There are 200,000 less properties than there needs to be at the lower end of the housing market, and that's getting worse.
The new state government is yet to say how it will make houses more affordable and reduce homelessness.
The Homelessness 2020 strategy that was to take us through the next 10 years has now been taken off the table by the existing government. They had been consulting with the sector, they've been talking to the homelessness workers, but we don't know which way it's going to go, so it's definitely up in the air.
Does that mean Victoria doesn't at this stage have a plan to deal with homelessness?
I suppose you could say that that's what it means.
There's $40 million at stake, tied up with Labor's strategy that the Coalition is now reviewing.
I think it's reasonable that a new government does that. I think it's also reasonable that we have a strategy in place.
It's hard to think of a more pressing issue for government, finding homes for families. This one is now in temporary housing, waiting for a permanent home. Alex says the bright side from her family's trauma is that her disabled son is getting better therapy.
No matter what the family's been through, if we look at the bigger picture, I guess it's been worthwhile. All the stress, all the anger and the resentment that my children have. At the end of the day, they see that it's going to be better for their brother, so